guys, this is Eric Stratman with TEN TV coming to you live from our studio here in the TEN campus in Tampa, Florida. We got a special guest today, somebody that's definitely changed a lot of lives, Joe De Sena with Spartan Race. So Joe, just introduce yourself as if I didn't know who you are, what your background is, and how you came to this point in your life.
Sure, my name is Joe De Sena, and I'm getting old, and built this company called Spartan Race over the last 4+ years. I guess I got here because I was looking for something different back in the 90s, looking to do adventure races and just get out of the office and really get back to basics, get to a place where I just wanted water, food, and shelter. And so I signed up for these crazy races around the world, had an awesome experience, but I found myself not being able to convince friends and family to come do them with me. They were just too extreme. So this idea came about in like 2009 to create a race series that was accessible. That's Spartan Race. Seems scary to many, but we've got like a 99% finishers rate, so literally anybody can get off the couch and get it done. People that are less fit and less healthy are going to feel a little more pain during the race, but you can get it done, you get to the finish line, get the medal, and it's a pretty amazing achievement when you do. I like to say, and we all know, that diamonds come from coal under enormous pressure, and so this race puts you under enormous pressure in the sense that it wakes you up early in the morning, it gets you going to bed a little earlier at night, it maybe keeps you from drinking that extra glass of wine, it helps you find new friends, and in doing so, it turns what some people have said were coal themselves into diamonds. Because we get tens of thousands of emails that say, man, you changed my life. I now get along great with my wife or my husband. I lost 40 pounds. I'm no longer drinking. I had one guy, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but if you want to hear a crazy story.
Love it.
I had one guy come up to me. He's missing all his teeth. He looks like, you know, a mess. And he says, I got to tell you, he goes, I was driving my pickup truck, lived in upstate New York, and I heard this Spartan Race radio advertisement. I stopped the truck. He goes, I was on crack, all kinds of drugs, I was a mess. And whatever reason, that advertisement just struck a chord. He goes, I parked my truck right there on the spot, hearing the radio advertisement, went into the woods and didn't come out for 30 days.
Wow.
He goes, I found a shelter. He goes, I caught my own fish. He goes, and now I'm here at the race. He goes, you changed my life. And so we get some extreme stories. And, and like I said, I think it's turning coal into diamonds.
Well, I love that analogy. The coal into diamonds is tremendous, because we've seen people with their lives change. As we mentioned in our initial email, that it's these folks that are coming in saying, well, I haven't been on off the couch in 20 years, or I've got kids, and get caught up in the life, which we understand that happens. But then they train for something like this and then go through your race and then see that they can come out the other end a finisher. It's not a matter of how they finish, it's that they finish. You know, too many people have that issue of they didn't start, didn't finish, and now they're finishers in something, and it totally changes their life. What are you seeing from the generalist that is the most consistent that you're hearing from them in their testimonial?
The biggest thing is people have a tough time being motivated. And this race in particular changes that, because once you sign up, you're on the hook. It's not like running a 5K or even a marathon, and that you just get outside and do some running on the road. This scares people enough. This scares you straight, right? So now you've got to run, you've got to start doing some pull-ups, you've got to start doing some burpees. You're not going to drink that extra glass of wine. You're going to find new friends. You're going to go to bed early. And many other events that people could choose don't necessarily have that same effect, because this is like, for many people, this is like joining the Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
So and it has that kind of feeling associated with it. You feel, for lack of a better term, you could edit this out, but you feel badass.
Yeah.
And that has a bunch of associations with it.
Right. So what I've noticed, you know, because of training folks in the CrossFit competition, or if it's the generalist, but you know, we get a ton of people that are coming for, you know, going after your race, or that we encourage them to do your race when it's in our area, for the simple fact that we want that challenge. It's not just come in and work out every day for nothing. We obviously want that that goal at the end of the day that they accomplish something new. So we look for PRs all the time, and obviously just competing in your race, the PR in itself, and finishing it is another PR for them. So it's something that we see that consistency. So you're talking about now that we touched on about you want to have some trainers now, and you want to have some folks that are going to come in and start doing certifications for it. What is it that you're looking for out of that? And is it consistency for the product that you're putting out, or people that you can rely on that you know they're going to train them properly for the, you know, that race coming up?
That's exactly it. I happen to have Joe De sit next to me, who helps run that program. But our reason for bringing Joe and Dr. Jeff in and the team was we didn't want. Many people said, "Look, I'd love to do it, but how do I train?" And even though there's hundreds of thousands of trainers in the United States, not many of them are familiar with training for this type of event. So we wanted to find a core group that we can count on and certify, so that we felt comfortable we could send customers to them. But let me pop in.
Well, real quick, and you know, Joe can jump in on this for both Joes, Joe squared. You said that you had you put the team together. So how did you select this team, and what are their jobs within that team, and what are their duties?
So I've been trying to find great people my whole life, as I'm sure you have, and we created something pre-Spartan called the Death Race. And the Death Race occurs once a year up in Vermont, and it really is an exorcism. It breaks people down to their core. It's 72 hours, and it's meant to bring you to a state that you might be in if you were actually in battle or climbing Mount Everest, or just a completely psychological and physical broken state where you can't see straight, you're upset, and find out yourself how you act under those circumstances. So when we looked for the core team of who was going to run SGX, did they believe in what we believed in? Did they have the same values? And how did they react to things like the Death Race? And so this was the team we selected. This is like SEAL Team 6.
Nice. This is SEAL Team 7 now, right? One above. But now with your Death Race, is that, you know, because obviously this can be a whole conversation on its own, but real quick to touch on it, is that something that is no sleep is gone? It's kind of like the Crucible type Marine Corps boot camp deal, or what? You know, what do you compare it to?
So this would maybe succinctly answer the question. So Colonel Nye, who came out of SOCOM in Tampa and works with us now, came down to watch one of the Death Races. And here's a guy that spent 40 years in the military, made it up to Colonel in SOCOM, working under Admiral McRaven, and he said, "You guys are nuts." so
awesome.
I would say we take it to a whole new level.
That's great.
Now, I'm not taking anything away from the military. I've got huge military envy. There's nothing we do that can compare to those guys, but we definitely put you through the ringer.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a motivating title like Death Race, you know you're going in for the warm and fuzzies the whole time, right?
Right.
Excellent. So we've got Joe too, and excuse me, if you can introduce yourself and your background and what you have as part of a Spartan Race and the training team.
Absolutely, thank you. So my name is Joe De Sena in the Spartan community. I am Joe DI, just to distinguish myself from this guy over here. But yeah, so I was fortunate to come into this thing. You know, Dr. J was a professor of mine when I was in school for exercise physiology. I've been a trainer for the last just over a decade. You know, at the time when I first got introduced to Spartan, my first race, I was managing a franchise gyms, and my whole thing as a trainer, you know, I've gone through a lot of certifications myself, whether it's the NASM stuff or whether it's the strength conditioning stuff or the FMS and the rest. And what was always interesting to me as a trainer was I was dumping, especially for the first 5 years of my career, dumping all my efforts into how to train people, how to fix imperfections in their movement. And what I came to realize is that I was getting so focused on that I was actually, when I actually looked at my clients, there was a huge deficit of actual weight loss. All of a sudden, yeah, maybe their shoulders are sitting back nice, but the weight loss, to me, if I had 10 people signed up, 8 or 9 of them might not get results, and that was really bothering me. And so I got really into the psychology and the psychological side of this. Ended up going into a graduate program for psych, because that's what I found. doesn't matter how good you are at fixing a shoulder or fixing core function or whatever else, if you can't tap into that mental side of somebody, then you're going to have a lot of struggles training them. I did a lot of research prior to this as well into that exact thing, and what I found is that the results are almost the same whether you're at a $10 a month gym or whether you're at a top-notch trainer's facility coached one-on-one. So with SGX, and when I got into Spartan, we said, you know, we're going to try to really focus on this psychological piece as well as the physicality and as well as the preparation, because it's just as important. So our certification is actually grounded in what we call the 7 pillars of training. And in those 7 pillars, we go into the mind, the body, and the spirit as to all these elements of physical fitness, whether it be athleticism, power, stamina, endurance, etc. So that's kind of been my contribution here, is to really try to get focused on all 3 legs of the stool, not just the physical, but the mental and the motivation and everything else, and the nutrition as well. So yeah.
Well, excellent information. Now, going through, we were starting to touch on, before the interview started, about level 1, 2, and 3 of this. So when you talk about a level 1 and a level 2 and a level 3, how does that curriculum work? What's the time? What sort of pre-qualifications are you looking for? And any other information you could provide that would be pertinent to it.
Absolutely. So level 1, you know, level 1 is basically for anybody that wants to come into the Spartan life, right? So the Spartan life is about sleeping well, it's about working hard, it's about putting in the time and the effort and reaping the benefits on the other end. So level 1 is open to anybody, and it's a complete immersion into the Spartan lifestyle. Level 2 is going to be more for the trainer, right? So you leave level 1, no matter who you are, you're pretty fit at training yourself, and you know, you're pretty well prepared to give advice in the office or whatever. Level 2 is going to be exclusively for trainers, and that's where you're going to really dive into the physiology and the metabolic systems and really prepping for a race. And these are people that are going to exit and become hired experts at training for a Spartan race. We're also in the process of building out different tracks within level 2. So if you want to focus on you know, being an obstacle expert or a performance expert,
okay,
a nutritional expert, or even a female training expert, we're going to end up having a few different tracks within level 2. And then our level 3 is still a little bit TBD. So no one's ever passed. Yeah,
I noticed. So you're saying, you know, that it was interesting you said, you know, what caught my ear there was even your level 1 is emerging in the Spartan lifestyle. Yeah. So what is that?
That is like I said, a 3-legged stool. It's valuing lifestyle and nutritional factors as much as the physical side. I think there's a big deficit of information. A lot of people getting the information that they're living by day to day from the wrong sources. So what we want to do is sort of clear the air and get people some legitimate truths, and get them to understand what's most important given their situation at this current juncture.
Okay.
As a trainer, you know, you'll see, for example, maybe not the best example, but for me, somebody who, you know, if anyone ever came in, if they ever smoked, right? If anyone ever had a drinking problem or smoked cigarettes, it was always, look, don't smoke for a few weeks, come back, because whatever I could do to you in terms of the sweaty and sore scale or fixing your nutrition, it's not going to even compare to what 2 weeks of no cigarettes would do if you've been smoking a pack a day for 20 years. So do that for yourself first. So I think one of the things that level 1 is going to do is help people kind of look into their own life a little bit different. They're actually going to come out the other side a little bit changed. And when they come in, they'll get a questionnaire, and so they can really kind of look at their life and where they're at and what the priorities need to be. Because I think a lot of times there's a lot of things that need to come out before we start adding things in. And so that's what level 1 is all about.
So that level 1, that is going to allow just the generalist to just go in and become that part of Spartan lifestyle, not just part of the race, but somebody that can understand the mindset and, you know, how to set your body, how to train properly, how to, you know, understand and decipher the good sources for their training and for their nutrition. And obviously you guys are going to be providing some of those sources, or if not all of them, so that way they're directed to something that's going to help them get to their ultimate goal and encourage others around them to do the same. Is that basically the synopsis of level 1?
That's basically the synopsis of level 1, absolutely.
Excellent. So I'm listening. All right, I'm paying attention. So as far as level 2 goes, is that going into someone that is more like myself, that owns a facility, or somebody that might be a boot camp trainer, or somebody that trains clients on their own, that is looking to implement that Spartan lifestyle, but then make that what their training regimen is?
Yeah, absolutely. So in level 2, we're going to provide you with all our rationale for training and program design. We're going to go into a needs analysis of all our major obstacles, so we know what kind of muscle contraction's happening when. So it's a really kind of much more deeper look into this stuff. And as we begin to carve out those tracks, it's going to get really, really specific. And we're bringing in some experts that are going to be on our round table. So the best in the field as we carve out those tracks are going to contribute to those tracks. So we're excited about that. But yeah, level 2 is a boot camp instructor, someone that's already certified by an accredited organization. So we know they have that foundational knowledge of basic program design. If I say the word periodization, they know what I'm talking about type thing. And when they leave, absolutely, they're gonna be definitely pretty changed. And I think they're gonna look at how they train people a little bit differently. And yeah, Spartan it right up.
Nice, nice. So if I'm looking to do, say, a level 2, are you still gonna have us go through, or whoever it is, go through a level 1, so that way you know what you're prepared for level 2, or is there going to be some type of testing you guys will do that somebody can complete just to go into level 2 directly?
Yeah, no one's skipping level 1, because level 1 is the foundation, man. That's the introduction to this culture, right? We want you to understand who this guy is next to me and where this thing all started.
That guy. Nice.
We want everybody, because this is something that around the world, we've been fortunate to have, we have trainers now in about 12 countries, and every time we do those things, they might be tremendous trainers that might be able to dive right in and keep up with us in level 2, but ultimately, if they don't understand the true roots of this philosophy and this system and this race, then they're not going to come out the other side quite as changed as we'd like them to. So level 1 is that immersion, and level 2 is just building on that.
Excellent, excellent. So, and then obviously the level 3 being to be determined. So as you collect these level 2 trainers and they become a little bit better, a little more seasoned, and yearning for more, is that as where you're going to develop what level 3 is going to be?
Level 3 would be like Gandhi, Mother Teresa. Very few people.
All right, so
Not anybody.
maybe your grandkids will be teaching the level 3 there. So excellent, excellent. But so leading off with the training, is there any other information that you can provide me with, and also finish up with that, if you could tell me how to find out about that training, how I can find where I can get that training, and upcoming seminars?
Should we shoot you an email, you mean? Or
No, just say it.
Okay. Yeah, man, you can head over to SpartanSGX.com. That's the site right now for the workshop calendar and some more information about it. If you do come through the workshop, I can almost guarantee you will not be disappointed. You're going to leave with a whole new outlook on what you do. At times, even the most talented coaches have said, I'm going to serve the same flavor I've always served, but you gave me a new cone to put it in. So
nice.
We're excited to hear that. So, and that's tremendous. So you're going to leave with a periodization template where you can prepare people for Spartan Race, and you can extrapolate that from 12 weeks to a full year, whatever your training program and whatever your business suits. And we're creating.
Let me jump in. I will tell you, randomly, I was in California, and I went into a gym, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's a new product, and it's a really neat product. And the head trainer that is creating the curriculum for all their gyms said, hey, I did the SGX program. I recognized my shirt, it says Spartan. I did the SGX program. I said, oh, well, give me some feedback, because I want to make sure Joe still has a job with us. And,
nice.
And he said, I got to tell you, he said, the only negative I have is that you guys give me too much damn information. So it was good to hear that people are blown away with how
that's awesome.
How much knowledge gets dumped onto them while they're part of the program.
Well, going back to that and getting certified, how do you guys select where you're going to do these, or do you have a home base that you teach them out of entirely?
It's really been demand-based, right? So like, he was here in Slovakia.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going all around the world. It's just that, in Australia, rounds up 30, 40 trainers that want to get certified. We shoot to Australia. So the only place we haven't been is the moon, because there's just not a lot of trainers there.
Nice. So do you look for a minimum number of possible attendees before you book that, or what is it? Do you put it on the individual that's hosting, or how does that work out?
we have a few different systems. So number one, we do have quite a bit of demand. So demand is definitely kind of our number one go. If we do, have these minimum numbers, we do have certain numbers that we expect to hit, and at times we will leverage, a local promoter or something like that if we need to, or the host site that's hosting the workshop. It's a good opportunity for them to make a few extra bucks if they can really drive sales for us. So we've done a few partnerships like that, but typically it's demand based, and we're fortunate at this company, and so we've had pretty good luck on that front. But
so how does that? So if I'm gonna either do a level 1 or host a level 1, what's the time demand? Is it a 4-hour course? What could I expect from that?
Absolutely. So on SpartanSGX.com, you can request a course. You'll see the application there with the space demands and the equipment that we'd like to see on site. Geez, I just totally lost
time. So what's the time? Is it a 2-day or 1-day?
Full weekend. So
okay.
We're going to be going from 9 to 5 Saturday and Sunday back to back. We've done a handful of Fridays, Saturdays as well, so that could be an option depending on your place of business. But yeah, it's 2 full days. The first day is about 70% lecture and 30% hands-on, and the second day is just the opposite, about 30% lecture in the morning, and then we just jump right into it, working out for us.
Just smash them, right?
Smash them.
I like it. So yeah, that's good that you get that information. And do they get a manual from you with all that information and being able to take notes, or is it just something that they're learning on the fly and then just note taking themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. To Joe's point, we give them too much information, so they get quite a bit of handouts and things like that. They're going to get a big manual with all the content, probably more than they want.
Okay, excellent.
And
so
books, the other thing they get. So,
excellent. So if somebody wants to, that's watching this interview, that wants to not only, you're saying go to the SpartanSGX.com to find out where the next certification is near them, but if they want to host that, do they just go to that? Is there a contact page in there or an email that they can send it to?
Absolutely. You'll see on the drop down, it'll say request a course or host a course, and there's applications for those things. So absolutely send the people on over and send us an email. We'll get back to them as soon as we can.
This is something I love about my job here with TEN TV, because I'm asking questions that I want to know for myself, but I know everybody else wants to know. So if I can get a quick, if you guys aren't short on time, just what is that need that somebody that's going to request? What is the minimums you need as far as space and equipment and anything else specific that you guys require?
Yeah, to host a workshop, number one, we need a place to put our projection, put our screen up. So if you have a large white wall, we've done that a few times, but somewhere we can sit 30 to 40 people. We rent chairs and tables and things like that, so we need that kind of open space. We also need a minimum of about 3,000 square feet of open space. A lot of our training is body weight, a lot of it's ground-based. We do a lot of crawling, a lot of those type patterns, so we got to have room for that. So minimum 3,000 square feet and a place to project. And then, obviously it helps if you're close to public transportation, there's parking for people and things like that. So
okay. Excellent. Well, we qualify, so we're excited, and you'll see that email come through this afternoon. As far as anything else that you want to leave us with the certification, or anything that we can expect to see, or just keep an eye on the Spartan SGX site?
We would love for one of you guys to be the first ever to pass level 3.
Nice. Let me get level 1 and level 2 first, and then we'll see if we can get to that level 3. So now your level 3, is that something that is that your death race, or is it the same time as that? Is it once a year, and then anybody that wants to try to get level 3, that's where they're going to go?
Held up in Vermont, and obviously we'll work around some kind of convenient schedule, but we don't get a lot of people raising their hand to attempt level 3. And it wasn't that it was a death race. It's just it's a lot of work. I mean, you've got to be a pretty extraordinary trainer to get through it.
Excellent.
On that front, yeah, absolutely. So the biggest distinction that I try to explain to people is, it's going to be a little bit more death race-esque than a traditional workshop, a traditional cert. But the biggest thing is that level 1, level 2 are going to be educational, and you're going to learn quite a bit. Level 3 is almost an audition. So we're not really teaching you much. We're just basically going to test you. And that's the biggest thing that I think, the one that we did host, that one master workshop that we went over 30 on, that's what people were
we're not prepared for, is that this is going to be an assessment of your skills as a trainer and what we've taught you in levels 1 and 2.
So it's really the opposite of that, out of shape PE teacher you had in high school or middle school, and saying not the ones who can't coach, right? The old, I can't do it, but I can coach you how to do it. Now you're going to say, no, those who can coach for us or teach for us.
Yeah, because this is a person that we would potentially send somewhere in the world to represent us and train others, and so it has to be somebody on that level.
Okay. Now, when you're saying teaching for you guys, do you have to pass that level 3 to become an instructor for you guys, or is it you pass a level 2 to be able to teach a level 1?
An instructor in the sense that you're going to start certifying people.
Yes.
So if you're going to represent us in Australia or Tampa, right, or Eastern Europe,
correct,
you've got to be we've got to know that you're representing the company in a proper way. So it's not just getting the knowledge, like Joe talked about, but it's proving that you can teach others.
So is it? And sorry if I didn't, explain if I wasn't clear on it. The question being that, do you have to be level 3 to be an instructor for you at all, or do you have to complete level 2 to be able to be a level 1 instructor?
There's a handful of level 2 folks that have really impressed us, and we've leveraged them for different things like hosting a workout here or there. But if you're going to host a level 1 workshop, you're going to be a level 3 certified coach.
Okay, excellent, plain and simple. I like it. I like it. Well, Joe D.I., I think we're done on the training side. We're going to get a little more to the book now, but I really appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Tampa. So let us know when you got some openings. We'd love to have you guys down here to see our facility and get some instructors going, because your race and the Spartan life's definitely alive and kicking here in Tampa.
You got it, man. We're going to be down for SGX in a few months, so check that calendar. We already got it on the docket.
Awesome. Excited about seeing it. So, Joe, if you can give us a little bit of information on your book, as we are excited about seeing it coming out here in May.
Yeah, so I've been writing the book in my head for 30 years, probably not unlike you or any of us, writes down mentally their story. They take the good stuff and try to forget the bad stuff. And now that I've got 4 children, I keep thinking, what are the good things I can instill in them? How did some of these good things happen to me, and what could I give them from there? And so when the opportunity came up to write a book, I jumped on it. But then you actually have to do it, and it's kind of a nightmare, because you get all these thoughts and you can consolidate them into a couple of hundred pages, and it really all came together. This is going to sound funny. A friend of mine invited me down to meet Richard Branson at his house on his island, and it's a pretty cool place to be, and people are out there windsurfing and kite surfing and things, and I'm sitting there finishing the book. So that's where it all happened. But it's an awesome book. We've given it out to a couple hundred people so far, and the feedback's been incredible, which is good, because you never know. I couldn't get my wife to read it. You never know if it's going to be good or bad when you're done with one of these things. But so far, knock on wood, it's been good. And really, the gist of it is, I looked at the successes I had in life and the failures, and what potentially made those successes. What are the correlations? And so one of them is, and I think it's a big takeaway from the book, is frame of reference. And so what I mean by that is just 200-300 years ago, we collectively, United States as a species, had this feeling that we had a really high tolerance for pain, like cold showers, not having clothes, going a couple of days without food, having to walk 10 miles for water, and we had really low expectations. We didn't expect coffee handed to us at a drive-in early in the morning. Today's just the opposite, right? Today we have really low tolerance for things that are really frustrating, like going to the airport and having to pay a baggage fee, and really high expectations. Coffee's got to be the perfect temperature. It's got to be in the perfect cup. Car's got to start when I ask it to, and the kids can't cry. And that's completely flip-flopped, and it doesn't necessarily lead to an enjoyable life, because you've got people that are flipping out over seemingly really silly things when you stand back and look at it. And it makes it that much harder to be successful. So I like to, and I think many of us, somebody like you probably does this, whether knowingly or not, I like to change my frame of reference every morning. So for instance, if you and I lived in a cave, we go out in the morning, one of us might get eaten by a lion or a bear. That was just like a normal everyday occurrence. And so I like to go out and meet my lion or bear every morning. I do 300 burpees in the morning. They suck. I don't even want to wake up some morning and say, I know I got to do these. But what it does, it changes my frame of reference for the rest of the day. And so the book talks about how to do that, not just on a daily basis, weekly, annually, but if you can do that, and if you can put yourself in a state. Think about Bosnia. Bosnia, many of the houses don't even have roofs because that's the only place where wood exists. So it's easy to rip your roof off to burn it for heat. And then you find yourself a few months later in a situation where you've got no roof, you've got no wood,
right?
Right. And so if you can look at life through a set of glasses like somebody from Bosnia does, you are very happy with the things that you get on a daily basis, and maybe you won't quit when you're running a business and times get tough, or you won't quit a relationship when it's not perfect, or you won't get upset with your kids when they're screaming, because it's a hell of a lot better than the other alternatives.
Right.
So that's one big takeaway. Another one is learning how to delay gratification. I don't know if you know the cookie test or the marshmallow test they gave children back in the 60s, but if you don't, for those of you that don't, they took a bunch of children, put them in a room, and gave them a marshmallow or a cookie, and said, look, you can eat that now, or I'll come back and I'll give you 2. Well, invariably, most kids, children took the cookie now or the marshmallow now. But they followed those children for 30 years, and what they found was there was 100% correlation between the kids that could wait for 2 and the kids that had better SAT scores, they went to better schools, they had better family life, they got a better house, better car, better job. And that's not ridiculous to think about, because think about almost every mistake you or I have made in our life comes from wanting something now. And so if we can learn how to not hit the snooze button in the morning and actually get up and delay gratification, because what you're going to get later is twice as good, that's powerful. Funny story, my 5-year-old was out to dinner with me 3 years ago, and I still had to test him with the cookie test, but all I had was ice cream. So it was 10 o'clock at night, and I said, which is past his bedtime, so I was already dealing a bad set of cards. And I said, you want the cookie, or do you want the ice cream now? And I put it in front of him, or you could wait, and you'll get it too. And he was about 3.5 minutes in, and he turned to me and he said, Dad, how long do I have to wait to get 15 scoops? And so that's the perfect answer.
That is awesome.
It's just such a little secret in life. Like, are you willing to forego some pain today and get 15 scoops later? So that's a big takeaway from the book. Another one is commitment. A lot of people just can't commit. They wonder why they're not motivated. Well, if you commit, and you commit publicly to something, whatever that something may be, it makes it that much easier, because you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be honest with the people you told about that commitment. Another big takeaway is values and beliefs. You may value being healthy. Clearly you value that. I value that. But if your belief system, which are the arrows that hit that target, that value, are not aligned. So let me give you an example. You and I value being healthy, but we think it's okay to have a glass of scotch every night. Well, that arrow is not going to hit the target. That doesn't make any sense, right? Many people think it's okay to have a cigarette once in a while. It's okay to stay up till 3 in the morning on Friday night. Well, it's okay if you don't value being extremely healthy, right? You might value having a great relationship, but yet it's okay to flirt with women. Well, you're not going to hit the target, right? No. That doesn't work. So anyway, there's some great takeaways from the book, and they're little tricks and secrets I've learned throughout the years that really separate success, no matter how you define it, from not being successful.
Excellent. Well, I mean, some of the things I'm looking at here, and some of the things that I'm noticing, and you're saying, backing up a little bit, you're saying frame of reference. If you can, elaborate a little bit more on that, and what someone's going through when they're talking about their frame of reference, or what you're referring to.
Well, so if you were lucky enough to grow up in a perfect household I'm just going to choose Connecticut. I have nothing against people from Connecticut, but beautiful Connecticut household, great parents, best school, and then you face adversity, because everyone faces adversity, whether they're building a business, whether they're working in a job, whether they're in a relationship. You are not going to have a frame of reference like the guy or girl that came out of Bosnia that's just happy to have a job.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, definitely.
Think about any movie that we get really excited about that turn out to be incredible mass hits in the movie theaters are movies where those people Here's a great one. Cinderella Man, Russell Crowe. Right? He's a boxer. He's got a broken hand. He's washed up. He's too old to be fighting, but somehow he gets to fight the big guy. He gets back in the ring. He's going for the heavyweight championship, right?
Right.
And the press interviews him and says, "Why are you fighting? You're washed up. Like your hand's busted." And he says, "I'm fighting for milk." You can't compete with a guy that's fighting for milk if you're just fighting for another payday.
Right.
You can't go up against that guy.
No.
And so for my whole life in hiring people, I've had businesses since I'm 8 years old. It drove me crazy that by and large, this is not true in 100% of the cases, but by and large, somebody from Eastern Europe outworked any American I've ever hired.
Right.
Different frame of reference.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah,
happy to have a job.
You're hitting the nail on the head there. And one of the things I love here is that, you know, in talking about the delayed gratification, and as we see when it comes to these physical challenges and working out, or, you know, what you value and how it is, it's much more that mental pain versus physical pain that you're willing to go through, because we understand that, you know, your mind gives up way before your body. So how do you reference, or what points are you hitting within the book and even within your training that is allowing you to understand that it is that mental, and what training points are you going through that get your folks that you are training, your staff's training, to overcome it mentally, to understand that's how you're going to physically become better?
There's two things. One is it's really important. Is you got to deal in bite-sized pieces. A guy said to me once, we were training in the winter, and I made a buddy of mine carry a canoe up a mountain in the snow, which makes no sense, but that's exactly why we did it, was put ourselves in a really awkward position. And we were about halfway up, we were soaking wet, and we were panting. And he says, what do you do when you bite off more than you can chew? And my answer is, you keep chewing. And you know, you put one foot in front of the other, and you get it done. And what I've always done, because I find myself in situations, whether it's long distance races or businesses or life in general, and it's just like, Jesus, this is terrible. I really want to pack it in. It happens to the best of us. Let me just get to here, wherever here is.
Right.
This morning I was doing my 300 burpees, right? At 150, I'm done. I want to go to work. I can't take anymore.
Right.
All right, let me just get to 160. I'll reevaluate at 160.
Right.
Get to 170. You got to deal in bite-sized pieces at the moment, because if you're thinking about 300, it's very hard to get there. That's number one. Number two, the mind, we have something called future memory. So what that means is, we all know that getting to the finish line, whether it's 300 burpees or getting to the finish line of Spartan Race or getting to the top of Everest, the mind at that moment releases an enormous amount of endorphins into the brain, and it feels really good. It's like a drugstore being released into the brain.
Right.
But once you've been there and you know what that feels like, and we've all had some experience that way, your mind will actually release those endorphins in advance before you do it again. So for instance, you've done the marathon, it was terrible, painful, but you got to the finish line, you got those drugs released. Now you're at the starting line again, a year later, and you're going to do it again. And you know you're going to go through all that pain. Why would you do it? Your brain will actually release a little bit of those chemicals at that starting line to give you a taste of what you remembered from last year at the finish line. So that's something that comes with experience. Right, you get through a few of these things, you get a taste for how good they feel, and then your mind will take over from there. One last thing, people used to say, oh man, if you just train for an hour in the gym, it's probably really easy for you. Actually, it's not true. Just because I was doing 8, 10, 15-day endurance events doesn't mean that I didn't get tired 45 minutes into an hour-long workout. What I found the human mind does is, no matter how long the workout is, about 75% into it, it sucks.
Yeah.
So if it's 1 hour, 10 hours, 50
Right.
hours. So what I like to do is, if I'm having a tough morning and I really don't want to do the burpees, I say, oh, I'm going to do 1,000. Makes 300 a lot easier.
Amen. I like it. I like it. Definitely. So when a couple things on your book. So what's the date it's coming out on?
May 13th.
May 13th. And where can we find this?
So Amazon or SpartanUpTheBook.com.
SpartanUpTheBook.com.
And anybody, I say this all the time, anybody who would love the book but is short of cash or whatever, just shoot me an email. I'll get you a free book. It's more about the message, and you know, if it helps one person, then I did my job.
Amen. That's awesome that you have that mindset, and being able to put this on the platform that you've created and allow these people to get the mindset that you have and what it'll do, and obviously being in that situation of if you own a business or you have kids, and I totally appreciate the side of you saying, you don't get upset with your kids that bad or that quickly. We're all going to get upset, and how do we handle those emotions? Or if it's doing the 300 burpees in the morning, or it's I got to go do my CrossFit workout, or it's just I got to get out of bed and start a workout program because I've been out of shape for 30 years. I'm really inspired by the fact of the message you're giving here. So is there anything else you want to leave us with as far as the book goes?
I think those are the big ones. I don't want to give the whole book away.
Excellent.
Read it.
Excellent. So as you guys heard, it's going to be SpartanUpTheBook.com or Amazon. The book's named Spartan Up. For Eric with TEN TV and Joe De Sena with Spartan Race and Spartan Up, we really appreciate your time, and we're done here.